अनिरोधां नभोरूपा सुसंविद्ज्ञानगोचरा प्रत्येकैकस्य तां वन्दे त्रिकालजिनमातरम्। एवं मया श्रुतम् एकस्मिन् समये भगवान् राजगृहे विहरति स्म। गृध्रकूटिपर्वते महता भिक्षुसङ्घेन सार्धं महता च बोधिसत्त्वो सङ्घेन तेन खलु समयेन भगवान् गम्भीरावसम्बोधम् नाम समाधिं समापन्नः। तेन च समयेन आर्यावलोकितेश्वरो बोधिसत्त्वो महासत्त्वो गम्भीरायां प्रज्ञा पारमितायां चर्यायां चर्माणः एवं व्यवलोकयति स्म। पञ्चस्कन्धांस्तांश्च स्वभावशून्या व्यवलोकयति स्म।
Hello everyone, bonjour. Good morning, Venerable Elizabeth Lau. Good morning, Gejimbala. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, good evening, those who are living across the world. And welcome to the fifth session of the teaching on Heart Sutra by Venerable Geshe Damdul. So before we start the fifth session, the last session of the teaching, I would like to request each and everyone to kindly keep your videos on, and so that we would have an interactive session, and the microphone on mute to avoid the interruption, please.
Welcome everyone. Welcome Venerable Geshe Damdul. Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning, Venerable Elizabeth, Venerable Jimbala, and Arnold, and each and every one of you. Yes, so we will do a setting a proper motivation, as always. For that matter, first refuge fields, given that today is the closing session 5, let us make it a point that the motivation set right, that visualize the refuge field, Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Avalokiteshvara, Shariputra, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, and all your teachers who are from whom you have received inspirations, blessings, compassion, the wisdom, and so forth. All the teachers that you connected with, and particularly when you visualize them, imagine that they are in the light of the mother who is looking upon her only child, the child who is so sick, vulnerable, and weak. So we are the ones. And yeah, let's think about it for a few seconds. Okay, then for the Bodhicitta field, let us visualize your two parents. Even though you might have difficulty with them is not a problem, but we make sure that we visualize them, remembering when you were such a vulnerable child, age 4, 5, where you have your parents there, just 2 of them, and others are here and there for a while, but then these 2 are the ones who are there to give full support and help to you, love and affection to you. And likewise, all your family members, including your children, and all other dear mother sentient beings living on our side, the human beings, the animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, gandharvas, asuras, god and goddesses, all around you. And imagine that you are like the mother to all of them, and they are so vulnerable. They need the total love and affection and support from you, and you are there to give this love and affection. The way in a manner in which the mother embraces you when you were such a tender young child. And with this mind, let us make a commitment that I now discover that I have the seed of perfection within me. After the seed of perfection, I can become the full awakened one with total fearlessness and infinite happiness. And as of now, when I go to help others, I feel the fear that then I may get into trouble, whereas you become totally fearless and there's nothing to deter you from engaging help others. In the process of helping others, your happiness, your joy, your ease, your fulfillment simply multiplies. This is the greatest meaning for yourself and a meaning for others. With this in mind, let us make a commitment, and all beings, you're inspiring everyone to join you to build the spirit. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all dear mother sentient beings. Okay, good. With this in mind, let us do the prayers. Tenzin Hadrullah will lead the prayers, and we will all read it by reflecting on the meanings and invoking the experiences to the best one can.
Tashdalai everyone, thank you, Venerable Geshe. By keeping in mind the 3 points, let's recite the prayer. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Taking refuge in generating bodhicitta. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la chancho bardu dani yapsu che dagi chinso gi pe sonam gi tola penche sangye jo parsho. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la chancho bardu dani yapsu che dagi chinso gi pe sonam gi tola penche sangye jo parsho. Sangye chodan sogi chonam la chanchu bardu dani yapsuchi dagi chinso gibe sonam gi tola penche sangye drubarsho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught the speech which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths cause those helping my creators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subduers expound the variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostration. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, for the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. The essence of dependent origination mantra will recite it together for 3 times. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Tathagato Yavadat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vadi Mahashamanaye Swaha. Meaning of the Tenryal Nyingpo mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the greats here. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite, such as the nectar light Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll retire into the woods.
Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I pay obeisance. Four seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and misery's gloom. Instructions on parting from the attachments. If you are attached to this light, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Heart Sutra mantra. Tayatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha.
Okay, thank you. Now we will take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow as indicated before. Anybody who has number one, desire to get rid of all your fears. Number two, where you can expand desire, aspiration to expand your happiness or fulfillment or ease of your mind infinitely. And anybody who thinks that I'll be happy to be of service to others as much as I can, at least I'll not harm others. If this is who you are entitled to take this aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and the benefit no doubt is immense, and particularly later on, some of you, I know you're already engaged in these practices, the Bodhicitta practice. As you practice, the Bodhicitta practice or the Bodhicitta experience is something which takes time. It's not that you intellectually activate your mind and then you have the experience of Bodhicitta. No, it'll take time. Whereas if you do these, say taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and say in the end, I'll try to share some of the points which I think would be helpful for all of us to keep in mind in our daily practice. If we do these things, then no doubt that your experience of the bodhicitta will be more swift. So with this mind, as we already reflected upon earlier, all the Buddhas, bodhisattvas in the space in front of you, and your two parents, all the family members, your children, and all dear mothers sentient beings with you. And imagine that you are leading the ceremony, and all beings are joining us. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and otherwise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and otherwise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successively dwelled in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and otherwise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, yesterday what we were doing was we were on the part, the text Heart Sutra, where we were reading, Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the professional wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and thus without fear. Okay, in this connection, what we have learned thus far in the last 4 sessions is about, say, the waking up from the sleep of ignorance. And let us remember that the Buddha summarized all his teachings in just one simple verse. Ordinary person without any exposure to philosophy, psychology, they read it, they'll get some sense. And then the most profound philosopher, the most profound practitioner, learned scholar reads this, and again they will see a deeper meaning there. What is this verse? The Buddha summarized all his teachings in one verse, that is, commit no evils, accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible, tame your mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Let me repeat it. Commit no evils. Number 2, accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. Number 3, tame your mind. Number 4, this is the teaching of the Buddha. Okay, anybody, any sensible person, you're a Buddhist, non-Buddhist, philosopher, scientist, educationist, or environmentalist, you read it, yes, it makes sense. Yes, say, any sensible person will see that this is really sensible, it's very meaningful. Commit no evil. In other words, even they say, whatever we do, for example, we breathe because we like to survive, and struggling to breathe, there's unease, feeling of unease. So breathing, and that unease is released. In other words, whatever we do, we are doing that for some purpose. And what that purpose is, you decide it. So with this in mind, some people who have a broader knowledge of the reality, they can see the purpose, a deeper purpose, more profound purpose, and broader purpose. And some people who are not really exposed to the reality, who are very narrow in thinking, cognitively very narrow in thinking, they could see the purposes very shallow, narrow, immediate. They cannot see the far away, the long-term, the purposes. So on that basis, then the person acts. Now with this in mind, finally, if I'm to ask you, or you are to ask me, what's the real purpose of everyone? We see that some people, they say, I want to go into the academic line. Some, I want to go into business line. Some, I want to become the entrepreneur, and so forth. And so we see that, and some people, they want to remain as to do some freelance work. And some people, they go into Himalayas, that I want to meditate, and I want to simply get out of all these hassles of samsara. And some people, they deliberately come to the society to help the community. So the point is that if you ask them, what's the purpose? People will tell hundreds, thousands of purposes of their life, very different from each other. The next question. Why do you want to go into academic line? Why do you want to go to Himalaya? Why do you want to go into business, become a CEO? Or why do you want to go for an adventure? And so forth. Then they will say that I get satisfaction out of this. I get fulfillment out of this. I'm happy with this. In fact, I think about like 14 years ago, there was one world-renowned physicist, Professor Anton Zeilinger, a world-renowned physicist, quantum physicist, and he took part in one of the Mind Life conferences in Dharamsala with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and I also happened to be there. And at the end, say during one of the close meeting, I say the participants, they were invited to ask questions to the physicist and the scientist, and I asked some questions, quantum mechanics, and then he responded. And after this, then he came to me directly. He was already, I was in my, I think, late 30s, and he was already in 70s, I think. And he came straight to me at the end of the session. He came straight to me and said that you seem to have interesting questions on quantum mechanics. You can ask me. Then I invited him to my own room. And then we started asking. And meanwhile, there was a journalist there, Newsweek journalist. He was there. And then he said that you as a scientist, you are a world-renowned scientist. And to look at him, look at Dorji. So whatever he's doing, he's going deep into philosophy and psychology. You're going deep into quantum mechanics. And if you ask Dorji, what's the purpose of doing this? He'll say that there's a deeper purpose, this, and so forth. And what about you as a world-renowned scientist? What is the purpose of you going too deep into research and so forth? This was, it seemed as though like it was the first time he was getting such a question. And he just remained stuck for a few seconds. And he said that it makes me happy. Okay, what I'm saying is that, in other words, all what we are doing, essentially, we are doing things to avoid the fears of life, the miseries, or to embrace and expand your happiness. And some people may not agree with me with the word happiness. If you're not happy with the happiness, no, I'm not seeking happiness. You are seeking ease of life. You are seeking fulfillment of life. Okay, it's just a vocabulary. It's one at the same time. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Whether girl or boy, there's no difference. This religion, that religion, there's no difference. Raise hands. Perfect. Very good. This is how the study of the philosophy and psychology will make sense to you, and you'll find joy in this, provided we're able to connect what we are studying, what reflecting, what we are meditating with your actual, the heartfelt, let's say, aspiration. That is to stay away from miseries as much as possible and to embrace the happiness to the maximum. If this is how you, if this is what you recognize that, okay, this is true, this is what I'm seeking, then the next question is what the Buddha taught. This one stanza will make sense to you. Commit no evils. Since that you don't want suffering, you want to stay away from miseries, you're buying, say now in Europe, you have your central heating system or you have your personal heating system in order to stay away from the fear of cold. And in some hot places in the summer, you buy cooling, the cooling systems, AC and so forth, in order to stay away from the fear of heat. And with the COVID, people try to buy all the things because of lockdown. You buy everything and stock it in your room. Why? To stay away from the potential hunger. So in other words, what we are trying to do is that these are things in reality, just if possible, try to take, later on after the class, you can take like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just sit quietly and reflect on whatever you have been doing for the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, however old you are. Say you are 10 years old, 20 years old, 20, 30, 40, whatever age, for the last 30, 40, 20 years, whatever you've been doing, that is meant to either to remove my fears, miseries, or to expand my happiness. Just see that, and then you'll realize that that's the point. Now I'm seeking to get rid of, to minimize the suffering, in the greatest, meaning that to make it zero if possible, and maximum the happiness to the best you can. This is what we are seeking. So these sufferings, how do they come? So we can see that many of the sufferings, evidently we see that they're coming from you. They are like self-made. They're self-made out of ignorance. And then there are deeper levels of ignorance also. So in other words, a manifest ignorance. For example, some people, okay, I'm not being cynical of the people who do not take the vaccine, but let me speak my thoughts. So some people say in the peak of the COVID wave, some people, they were so reluctant to take the vaccines, and then when they contracted the COVID, then many of them, they died. In America, one of the nurses informed me that after the vaccines made available to the public, then many people, they declined to take the vaccine. And then with the next wave coming, 93% of the people who are admitted in the hospital, they were those who declined to take the vaccines. And the consequences so forth, rumors are there, and the consequences, even I'm in favor of taking the vaccines, but I'm not sure. I cannot say that 100%, this is all 100% rumor. No, I cannot say that, but it protected me from the COVID. So what I'm saying is that and I know some of my friends who died, they didn't take the vaccine, and then finally they had the COVID, and then they died. Yeah, are very dear friends. So what I'm saying is that evidently we see that and of course anger. You're showing anger, aggression to others, and then you suffer. Nobody loves you, and you become lonely. This is evidently how ignorance creates problem on you. So ignorance creates problem to us. Problem means the fear. I don't want this problem, and that there's the fear that it may happen to me. There's a fear. So all this attracted either by the manifest ignorance or the non-manifest ignorance. What is meant by non-manifest ignorance? Non-manifest ignorance is the self-grasping ignorance, seeing things as objectively real. That is the one which is the one which actually triggered every miseries. And this ignorance, this gives rise to the afflictive emotions, anger, attachment, jealousy, fear, anxiety, and so forth. And these will give rise to negative karmas, and then the miseries ensue. Okay, so the Buddha said, commit no evils. If you don't want the fears of life, stop all the evils. Stop all the negative actions. Negative actions, physical, verbal, and mental. And what do you want? I want happiness. I want to expand the fulfillment. I want to expand my ease. And ease, they don't come from the sky. Ease, they come by dependence on the causes. What are the causes? The virtues. Accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. If you want ease, the maximum ease, accumulate wealth of the virtues. Number 2. And accumulate virtues and the avoiding evils. These are all mental phenomena. So tame your mind. It's not that, oh, from tomorrow I will not be, I will give up I'll give up the alcohol, I'll give up the all the bad habits from tomorrow. Some people, they say that, right? Some people, in fact, okay, I can see that there are many serious practitioners I can see, and those who are new, okay, just listen to us. And those who are, say, long-term practitioners, you know what I'm saying. Say some people, what they says, okay, same day, oh, Buddhism is amazing. The particular emptiness amazing, Buddhism is amazing. So I like to, and then the shamatha practice, single party meditation. This is amazing. So I will spend the next 1 month for shamatha practice, and then another 1 month for Bodhicitta practice, another 1 month for emptiness, then another 1 month for tantra, and then I become enlightened. I become a Buddha. Okay, these are all impractical, unrealistic. To become a Buddha and to become a professor, to become a Buddha is much, much more difficult. And to become a professor, how long does it take? It takes 20, 30, 40 years. And Buddhahood don't expect to achieve within a few months, right? Okay, so in other words, what I'm saying is that sometimes we become so, we are so unrealistic. We think of, okay, from tomorrow I'll change completely. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So I'll stop all these bad habits. From tomorrow, I'll be good, right? And I'll show my best tomorrow. From tomorrow, that is totally unrealistic. We should be very realistic. Because of this, the Buddha did not stop there. He did not just say that commit no evils and accumulate as great wealth of virtues, and this is the teaching of the Buddha. No, he said, tame your mind. This is the habituated, your mind is suffering from chronic illness of the bad habits of avoiding illness, avoiding evil. No, joyfully engaging in evil and attracting miseries, and joyfully kicking out the virtues, throwing out the virtues, and then therefore pushing aside your happiness. This is what we are doing. So therefore, this is a mental state. It is a mental state. Because of this, and this mind is very difficult to be tamed. So this mind decides whether you are actually doing away from evils or embracing the virtues. That your mind decides. So for this mind, you have to tame your mind in a systematic way. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. These 3 stages, they are known as the Lamrim practice, the stages of the path to meditation, path to enlightenment. So this is known as the Lamrim practice. In other words, this is what we have to do. Finally, it says that tame your mind. Tame your mind means that this aspiration to stay away from the evils or negative karmas and to embrace virtues, they are best to be done by seeing things as illusion-like. Seeing this illusion-like, then nothing really exists objectively. Things exist, but they don't exist objectively. They all exist subjectively. So it has two elements. They don't exist objectively. They're empty of objective existence, which means that the dream is not real. The dream's empty of being real. When you know that, all the evils will stop. Commit no evils. All the evils will stop when you come to know that the dream is dream. The dream is not real. Your evils, all the evils are done with the underlying, the ground, the foundation for all the evils is believing things to be objectively real. When you see the emptiness of objective reality, all the evils drop. And you have to expand your virtues. So when you see the things do exist, but subjectively by dependent origination, then you will know what are the factors dependent upon which your happiness ensue. So you start to embrace the virtues. Gathering the factors dependent upon which your happiness grows, these factors are known as virtues. So you gather as much virtues by knowing the reality that things exist by dependent origination. So by seeing the subjective existence or the dependent origination, your virtues proliferate, and with this, your happiness expands or your fulfillment expands. So is this the one? It is to be done in stages. The final stage is to see things as illusion-like, to see things as empty of objective existence, and to see things as subjectively real in the form of dependent origination. Okay, so with this, all your fears dissolve. This is so beautiful. Okay, let's say, I'll give you, before we continue with where we left last time, I will give you one example and then you tell me the difference. Okay, how many of you like to have a dream? How many of you like to have a dream? Raise hands. How many like to have a dream? Okay, very scary dream. Okay, so I'm yet to complete my sentence. You all raise your hands. Okay, so how many like to have a dream? Unpleasant dream. Nobody will raise your hands. How many like to have a dream of Venerable Elizabeth Lam taking all of us to his holy, to have audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama? Then His Holiness the Dalai Lama offering, oh, Venerable Elizabeth, okay, let's have all your students. Let's have tea together with me. How many like to have this dream? Raise hands. Very good. Okay, this amazing dream, wonderful. Now tell me, this dream, even this dream has a problem. Even this dream has a problem. Okay, what's the problem? Anybody? Raise your hands quickly. Anyone? Even this dream, even the most beautiful dream has a problem. Raise hands. Okay, Mary.
Dans ce souhait, dans ce rêve, on n'a pas le contrôle, on n'a aucune liberté, on n'a pas le contrôle de ce rêve qu'on veut, et dedans, on n'a même pas de liberté de faire ce qu'on veut.
Okay, let us all pay attention to what Mary said. Mary is saying that in this room, we don't have the power, we don't have the freedom, we don't have, any power to decide. Okay, Virginia.
On se réveille et on est frustré?
I'll say it again. Okay, okay, that's interesting. Okay, no, when we have such a pleasant dream, when you wake up, then the Virginia will go to, tell her friends, tell your mom that, oh, I had such a pleasant dream. You're with so much excitement, you will share this. You will not be frustrated. There's excitement there, right, Virginia? Yes. Okay. Anyone? Any more? Okay. Tutanla.
Geshela, even in a dream, whether it is good or bad, it creates artificial emotions. It creates an emotional turbulence within us. With a good dream, we create expectation that it should happen, and when it doesn't happen, it creates an dissatisfaction or a bad feeling. So any and every dream will create an emotional turbulence.
Okay. Thank you, Milani.
Yeah, it's quite similar to what he just said. It creates an attachment of an emotion. So for me, it would be like if I would want it so much, and if it doesn't happen, it would cause me suffering. So these happy dreams, I tend to in real life get attached to, and and keep expecting. And I think you should not have that expectation. You should just allow it to be. So that's where it would bother me.
Melanie and Tudan Changjubla. Okay, I say feeling attached to that is the second story. The first story is that what's the problem with this dream? It is not necessary that one should be attached to it. For example, like some people they say even with the alcohol. What's the problem with alcohol? You will feel attached to it. Not necessary. Some people they are so expert in taking the alcohol, they will just take one pack and they full stop. Then not go for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. There's a moderation there. Likewise, pleasant dream. Why I'm so lucky that I have this pleasant dream, right? Usually I used to have all these nightmares. Last night I have such a pleasant dream of Venerable the Elizabeth taking us all to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness offering tea for us. It's a pleasant. Wow, right? No, the no emotional attachment or no the frustration later on is not necessary. In some cases, yes, it happens. So I'm asking a universal problem. Anyone? Okay, Anu.
Geshela, I think if I want to have this dream tonight, so I do not have the freedom to choose like whether I'm going to have it or not tonight, or the.
Okay, how many agree with Anu that, okay, this is a very pleasant dream, I'll have it tonight also. I don't have the freedom. Raise your hands. How many agree? Okay, so thank you so much. All of you, Anu, thank you. Mary, thank you. Chanjubla and Melanie. The point is that with a dream, the problem is number one, this dream, you don't have the freedom to choose the dream. How it comes, that is a different story. But for sure, you don't have the freedom to choose that. How many agree with me? Okay, this is one thing. This is one thing. Number two is that the next dream, because you don't have the freedom to choose, the next dream can be a nightmare. Can be a nightmare. It can be. We never know. Raise hands. Okay. So how many of you tell me? So what I'm saying is that one thing which is common between the dream that we're sharing, the limitations of dream, the drawbacks of dream, and our life is also like a dream. Okay, let's see that how many of you can decide what you will be after 10 years? Anyone who can decide or who cannot decide, raise your hands. After 10 years, we never know. For example, some people with the best of your attempt to maintain your body. Some people, they just change, even the facial appearance changes. In 10 years, nobody wants to, to change to something undesirable, but it happens. We never know. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Yeah, it's quite scary.
it's quite scary to see these things, and this is reality. And in fact, when I was in England, when I was in Cambridge 16 years ago, one of my friends, very close friends, we became friends through his young son. Who was always always seeing me traveling from my college to the city center for a school there. This young boy was in their parents' car, and he must have been seeing me all the time, waiting there in the bus stop. And then he must have, forced his mom to give a lift to this monk. And one day, this lady approached me, and then said that they started to talk to me. It was quite unlikely there, a stranger talking to you. And then said that, this is my son, he wanted me to talk to you. Okay. Then we became very good friends, the son's two parents. And the father, one day he invited me to his place, and he asked me to share, what is Buddhism. And I was talking about, I was totally inexperienced. Whatever I learned, I just vomit there about suffering, truth of suffering, and so forth. And he said, Dorji, stop. I said, what happened? You asked me to speak and I spoke, and now you want me to stop. He said, Dorji, never in the future you talk about suffering in the West. I said, why? He said that people are so scared to think about suffering, to talk about suffering. And he gave an example. Imagine in the city center here in Cambridge, if there is an accident, car crash, and a person dies. Yes, it happens. Every now and then it happens. But believe it or not, in few minutes' time, even the trace of the blood is gone. And the person coming next will not even have a clue that something happened here. Nobody wants to see the death. Nobody wants to hear about suffering. And we already have so much of problems. We are in the big machine. We have to run with the machine. And again, you're talking about suffering. People don't want to hear this. Okay. So the point is that now the point is there a way out? This is reality. Whether you talk about it, you don't talk about it, it's a reality. Now the thing is there a solution rather than shirking it, shying away from this? Is there a solution? Yes, there's a solution. Wake up from the dream, stop the dream. All these problems will stop for good. You don't have to run away and eventually face it, and you are shocked. You are paranoid. You are shocked. That's too late. So there's a way out. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama always says that if there is no way out, there's no point in discussing suffering. His Holiness is very smart, very practical. If there's no way out, why should you have to add to the suffering? Add to the suffering? While we already have so much of suffering, why do you add it by talking about the suffering? Yes, by talking about it, there's a way out. Only we talk about it, we will see the sense of urgency. Then you will look for the way out. You wake up, the suffering stops. Okay, how to stop the suffering? There are two ways. One, by stopping the immediate factors, and finally, stopping the ultimate factor. What is the ultimate factor? The ignorance. To continue to create the dream. And because of which, what the next dream is, we are not sure. And next dream can be a nightmare. So what do? A wise person will stop the dream. The unwise people will crave for the good, pleasant dream, pleasant. I don't want this nightmare. I want a pleasant dream. This unwise people's approach, which is totally unrealistic. The wise people will stop the dream. Why should you have to surrender the dream? Stop the dream? Okay. Okay, so this is where the experience will happen, as last time Elizabeth said that, oh, if I stop this objective existence, perception of objective existence, then my affinity to my son, my daughter, this will stop. Don't worry, this affinity will increase 100,000 folds more than what is already there. Don't be afraid. And the point is that, good thing is that, okay, this is very important point, that this emptiness of objective existence, that experience of the emptiness of objective existence, where, for example, the flower dissolves, the self dissolves, the person you love so much also dissolves in that experience, right? Say, for example, you are meditating. There's so much stress in you, because people around you, they're all COVID patients, and you have the litigation case, the property, the say conflicts, so much of tension in you. And then Venerable Elizabeth La calls you, hey, don't worry, come, sit here in the Kalachakra center, sit for a while, just calm down. Said, she gives you some instructions, and then say all the rest of the participants, they're observing you. They can see that your face, there's tremendous stress there, stress and anguish, the face of stress and anguish. And then Venerable Elizabeth takes you into the meditation emptiness. You're meditating, and as your mind goes deeper into this person, I, who's going through this stress, this is nowhere to be found objectively. The moment you touch this, will be reflected in your face. People will see that your stress dissolves on your face. Your face becomes so calm, peaceful. They could see it on your face. But with respect to you, your face dissolves. There's no face which is peaceful, no face which is stressful. Your face dissolves, but your face does not dissolve, because people, they're watching you, and they are seeing your face transforming from stressful face to the very peaceful face, and eventually starts to glow. They can see that in you. And when you come out of the meditation, you can see, you can feel. They say when you actually go into this meditation, your stress dissolves. When you come out, you could feel the impact of this, that the physiological disturbance within you has already settled down. Okay, this is a benefit. And in the ultimate form, what happens, no matter what external factors you encounter with, your mind will not be stirred into stress anymore. It simply stops and it retains 100% peace. And this is known as fearlessness. This is what happens. So with this in mind, let's see to the impact. What's the benefit? If you practice so well, what happens is that no external factors can affect this mind. What will this mind do? Imagine a light, a candle. A candle light is there, and you cover it with a vase or a vase, a pitcher. You cover that with a pitcher, and you said that, oh, Geshe, I like to read books. Where should I go? I should go to room A. In room 8, there's a very bright light, and you get it so dark. And you come to me and said, there's no light there. I said, yes, there is a light. Did you see a picture? You said, yes, I saw a picture. Okay, in the picture, there's a light. Then what do? You go there, I take you there. Okay, there's a picture there. Yes, there's a light inside. No, I don't see any light. How do you know that there's a light there? What will I do? I will punch a hole in this picture. Where the hole is punched, where the hole is created, from there the light beams forth. Oh, there's a light inside. Then I smash the picture completely, and the light flows to all the directions of the house, flawlessly. Likewise, our mind, this is like this light. The true nature of this mind is luminous. Yet, at the moment, it is being restricted. It is being obstructed. It is being obstructed by the picture of the mental defilements, ignorance, and the stains of the ignorance, attachment, anger, jealousy, fear, and so forth. Now, with the wisdom of emptiness, it breaks the picture. What happens? When the light is trapped inside, there's a suffocation inside. Suffocation. You don't enjoy the free flow of this light. What's the nature of the light? The nature of the light is to be confined in the picture. No, the nature of light is to pervade in all directions flawlessly without being hindered. So now when you break the picture, what happens? The light will automatically flow. You don't have to tell the light, now flow to all the directions. I've broken the picture. No, it will automatically flow. So with this, what happens is when you, with the wisdom of emptiness, wake up from the sleep of ignorance, nothing in that dream can affect you anymore. So where all these obstacles, the picture is broken. When this picture is broken, the light inside you, the true nature mind, will flow freely in all directions. There's nothing which stops you. Because there's nothing which stops you, there's no fear now. All fears are gone. And because it flows to the infinite space and in time, there's a total ease there. It is able to manifest its true ease, the true nature. That's the greatest ease. Greatest ease is what we call as the infinite happiness. This is what happens. Okay, so this is how the wise people, when they go into the pursuit of the Bodhisattva path, gate, para samgate, bodhiswaha, what were they doing? They were trying to break this picture to let this true nature inside, the true nature mind, to manifest freely without being hindered by any obstacles. So when they succeed, when they reach the path of no more learning, the Buddhahood, when all the mental stains are gone, then what happens is that they could feel the total fearlessness and the infinite happiness. This is how all the Buddhas of the three times, they followed their path in this form. And this waking up from the sleep of ignorance, this alone is the way by which to let you experience the infinite happiness and the fearlessness. Okay, we continue reading. Page 30, sorry, the Heart Sutra. It reads, Shariputra. Now this Aravalokiteshvara continues to give the exhortation, Shariputra. Therefore, because there is no attainment, there's no, once a dream stops, all the contents of the dream stops, and you see that there's nothing objectively real there. Attainment, non-attainment, suffering, everything, they cease to exist, but they cease to be seen as objectively real by your mind. Because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom. That is the wisdom, to see that the dream is not real. When you really have this wisdom, the dream is not real. When you wake up, not in the dream, when you wake up, the mind without obscuration. So all these obscurations, all the picture is broken, and thus without fear, because of which there's nothing left to deter you, to stop you, to obstruct you. So you become fearless, that's without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, now there's no error there, you could see every atom of the universe, because your mind could flow to all the atoms of the universe, all the minds of the beings, without any hindrance. So it becomes errorless, which means you become omniscient, become beyond error. There is the end point of nirvana. This is the ultimate. Nirvana is what is this? This is the freedom, ultimate freedom. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times, the past, present, future, also manifestly, completely awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment, reliance in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. So given that they've already woken up from the sleep of ignorance, and they have woken up to the most refined form, the Buddha Shakyamuni, one of the epithets is the fully awakened one. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it's not false. Okay, therefore the mantra of the perfection of wisdom. So this is the indication of Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgade, Bodhisattva, this mantra. So with this mantra, we see that it's constituted of 5 parts, 5 components. First Gate is the part of accumulation, which we discussed yesterday. Second Gate, the part of preparation. Third Paragate, part of seeing. Parasangate, part of meditation. Bodhiswaha, part of normal learning. And these 5 are indicated as the mantra and also in these lines. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, this is indicating the path of accumulation. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, this is how we have to follow from the deep sleep to the first phase of the awakening, the path of accumulation, the mantra of great knowledge, a path of, part of preparation, then the second phase of the awakening, unsurpassed mantra, the path of seeing. Unsurpassed mantra meaning that thus far, even though you see emptiness, you see the ultimate reality, you see it in the form of a haziness conceptually. Now, when you see when you reach the path of meditation, you have embraced the unsurpassed, say the realization to see emptiness or the ultimate reality directly, which never happened before. So that is known as the unsurpassed. At that point, you are referred to as the Arya being or the superior being. In Tibetan is this Pakpa. The mantra equal to the unequaled. Mantra equal to the unequaled, that is the path of meditation. Seeing that unequaled refers to the Buddhas. Unequaled refers to the Buddha. Now, this mantra or your realization equal to the unequaled, meaning that, say, when you reach the path of meditation, you are now merging with the Buddha, or you are now becoming Buddha, the unequaled. So you are heading towards becoming equal to the unequaled, which is the Buddha. In other words, you're going to become Buddha. That is a path of meditation. Mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering. Thoroughly has the connotation not only the suffering, but also the subtle stains of the suffering, which are the cognitive obscurations. That is the path of normal learning. The mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth. This mantra, the realization within you, realization of the wisdom of emptiness, the wisdom of ultimate reality, this mantra is to be known as truth, since it is not false, because it tallies with the reality. The reality is empty of true existence, and this wisdom sees things as empty of the true existence. So the reality and what this mind perceives, what this mind discerns, are tally. So it is not truth, since it is not false. And what is the mantra? The mantra of perfection wisdom is declared. Tiyatha. Tiyatha means here is thus. Here is thus. How we should be following. Where we are now, we are just a very ordinary person, where the light is inside us, the light of the Buddhahood, light of the perfection within us, but that is obscured so badly. From there, we have to go towards the total awakening or total unfolding of this light. For this cannot be done overnight. It should be done in steps, 5 steps. So what are the 5 steps? They are Tatyatha. Sanskrit, it should be read as Tatyatha. Tatyatha means here is thus. Here's how we have to unfold this, the perfection, the secret perfection within you in 5 steps. What are 5 steps? Gadega. So this Om, we put in the bracket to indicate that you can add this or you may not add this, it's fine. And if you add this, Om is made of, Om is again a Sanskrit syllable, which is made of three letters. A, U, Ma. And A symbolizing the body, U symbolizing the speech, and Ma symbolizing the mind. body, speech, and mind. Body, speech, and mind of the individuals like us, ordinary beings, and the body, speech, and mind of when you become a Buddha. All the body, speech, mind, the pure body, speech, mind of all the Buddhas, including you when you become a Buddha. So, Om, when you say this should remind you that I should transform myself from such a very defiled state to the state of perfection, of purity. That is, fully awakened state of the Buddhahood. How? In the form of Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisvaha. In English, go, go. Gate means go. Go, go. Gate, Gate. Paragate, go beyond. Parasangate, go utterly beyond. Bodhisvaha, establish your full awakening. Establish your awakening, which means attain your full awakening. That is Buddhahood. Okay, so the Gade, the part of accumulation, the second Gade, part of preparation, Paragade, part of seeing, Parasangade, part of meditation, Bodhisvaha, part of normal learning. So this is how we have to traverse along the path to awaken the true nature within you. Okay. Then it says, Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration. Then, after Avalokiteshvara addressed Shariputra, his response to the question asked by Shariputra, then the Buddha arose. Then the Buddha, thus far, the Buddha was in a meditative state into the profound illumination, which is the wisdom of emptiness. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, saying, okay, well said, well said. In other words, the Buddha endorsed the response given by Avalokiteshvara to Shariputra. So because that the Buddha endorsed this, the Buddha endorsed the teaching of the Avalokiteshvara, it is said that this teaching is classified as the Buddha's own teachings. Okay, well said, son of the lineage. It is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection wisdom, just as you, Avalokiteshvara, have indicated. Even the Tathagatas meaning the Buddha. Tathagata, literally it means the one who has gone to the thatness. The one who has gone to the suchness or the thatness, which means the ultimate. One who has gone to the ultimate, which means nothing is obscuring between the Buddha and the ultimate. All the obscurations are removed. Afflictive and carnative, they're all removed. That is meaning of the Tathagata, the one who has gone to the ultimate, one who's gone to the thatness. All the Tathagatas rejoice, all the Buddhas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras. The asuras are the demigods, and Gandharvas. Gandharvas are the beings, the beings who survive on smell, who feed on a smell. And the Gandharvas, again, is a very interesting, I say, the class of beings. Okay, I don't want to go into too much into this part. The Gandharvas were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. This completes the Arya Bhagavati Prajnaparamita Hridya Sutra. Okay, so we're done with this. Now, so remaining part, this is addition by the later the scholars and the masters in order to employ this Heart Sutra as a daily practice, plus to be used as ways and means to remove the obstacles. And His Holiness the Dalai, I very clearly remember on several occasions what His Holiness says is that usually there is a tradition in Tibet that whenever there's the public teachings happening, there used to be some rituals to push aside or to dispel the evil spirits from the environment so the teaching happens smoothly. There's a tradition there. There's a set of rituals to be performed before the actual teachings are given. His Holiness at one point very clearly indicated this. Instead of doing these rituals, His Holiness would make the public recite the Heart Sutra 3 times. And His Holiness very clearly indicated that if the Heart Sutra does not have the power to eliminate the obstacles, then nothing has. The rituals, they cannot have the power to eliminate the things. Number one. Number two, with the Heart Sutra, we are not kicking out all these obstacles in the form of the spirits and so forth. In fact, we should embrace them. Instead of kicking them aside, we have to embrace them, include them in this teaching, that they're also suffering. They also need to learn what is the wisdom of emptiness. So this is the approach of His Holiness. And His Holiness says, if there are some hindrances which can potentially obstruct this teaching from happening, then the reciting Heart Sutra 3 times by reflecting on the meanings, there's no more powerful thing than doing this. So this has the full potential to get rid of any potential harms which can deter the teaching from happening. Okay. So with this, we are done with the Heart Sutra teaching, and now we have I'd like to just share with you some practical tips for yourself and for myself, not only for you, for me. And for me, it's like a reminder, and for each one of you, if you feel that, oh, these are relevant, then take it. If you feel that, okay, no, this is not so relevant or whatever, I know already, then it's fine. Okay. The first thing what I'd like to share with you is that finally, today, particularly nowadays, the modern day, we see that people are going through depression, tension, anxiety. And I constantly hear about people diagnosed with anxiety, problems. Or I have anxiety attack, and stress is a very common phenomenon. So how to cope with these? And they can be very temporary solutions, like antidepressants. And what I would say is that, yes, antidepressants are there. Antidepressants, they numb your, the anxiety, plus they numb your positive thoughts. They numb your immunity, they numb your the depression, they numb your positive thoughts, they numb your immune system. All are being numbed, which is not really advisable. Whereas if you go through a heavy, very serious, acute depression, anxiety attacks, so forth, then the first thing is that you must have to consult a very good psychiatrist. With this, because when your mind is really going haywire, you don't even have the potential to listen to somebody well, then you have to rely on the external medication. There's only choice. This is one. Once your mind goes back to the sanity, to get some sanity, then the best is don't stop the medication right away. Best is go for these steps, which I'm going to share with you now. Okay, these steps. And following these steps, if you start to feel the benefit, then in consultation with your psychiatrist, you gradually reduce the intake of the doses of the medicines, antidepressants. You reduce it. Only in consultation with the doctors, you stop it. Simply because these are beneficial to you, and you become overconfident, you stop the medication on your own. I wouldn't advise this. I'm not a medical doctor. If I'm a psychiatrist, yes, I would say don't stop it on your own. But even though I'm not a psychiatrist, I don't prescribe the medications. Still, I would say that don't stop it on your own. There are many people who do that. They think that, okay, now I'm normal. They stop it. And if they go to doctors continue to prescribe this, I want to stop it. They stop it and they end up into problems, relapse. It's a very severe problem. So I would say that if it is very severe, take the help of psychiatrists, If the need be, take the antidepressants. And once your mind goes to the state of normalcy or the sanity, the great degree of sanity, then start to do this practice. Do this practice, and with this practice, for sure, if you do it seriously, guaranteed that the mental state will become more and more calm, perhaps calmer than normal people. It can happen, for sure. It'll happen. Yeah. If that happens, only, again, I'm repeating this, I'm reiterating this, only in consultation with your doctors, psychiatrists, you can expect to reduce the intake of the antidepressants, or if need be, to stop it altogether with the advice of the doctor. Okay, this is one part. If you don't go through severe problems, you can start this practice. Okay. First, what you do is that you should be ready. You should be ready to give yourself minimum of 15 to 20 minutes. 30 minutes best, if not 15 to 20 minutes for this practice. For that matter, okay, it doesn't matter whether you're Buddhist, not Buddhist, it doesn't matter, anybody. What you do is that first, okay, if you're a Buddhist, you have your additional practices and whatever you're doing, continue with this. And alongside this one, just sit peacefully, calm, upright position. And if you have health issues, backache problems, so forth, then you can lean against the support. That's fine. Whereas if you don't have these health issues, if you have no problem with your, say, the back and so forth, then you sit the upright in a relaxed state. Okay, this is what you do, number one. Then with this, do this breathing exercise. Just empty your mind. Don't think about anything, whatever they say, busy, many things that you might have, busy things that you have to do. Just forget all these things for these 10 to 20, if possible, like half an hour. Just 10 minutes, 20 minutes is for your healing. For your healing. Don't let other works overtake this precious time. Okay, do this breathing exercise. Then once you start to do good things like meditation, then people are there to give you, oh, you're doing this, there are better things like this, there are better things to be done, and then you get distracted. This is what oftentimes happens. When you are not into practice at all, nobody helps you. When you do something, now you start to have some discipline, then so many people say, no, you have to do this practice, this tantric practice, this very powerful practices there, and then you are so enticed, and then you lose track, and then in the end you have nothing in your hand. And then 5 years goes by, 10 years, 20 years goes by, finish, you have nothing. So don't be distracted, right? When you see that temptations come, people are saying that, oh, you're already doing this, there's a better thing than this, right? There are many better things, yes. There are many better things. The point is that what brought you to this calming, don't lose it. First, complete it. Be expert in this. Once you be expert in this, you are the one to decide whether they embrace the better, the best, to become a Nobel laureate or whatever. You can decide later on, only when you become expert in this simple practice. Okay. So because people can easily, and those people, if you check with those people who tell you that there's this practice, there's this practice, you tell them, you check them, they're also going through depression. They themselves are going through depression, they're not doing this practice, and they tell you to do this practice. Okay. So the point is that those people who are really very serious in whatever practice they are doing, when they see that you are doing this practice, they will rejoice. They will not make you distracted to something else. They'll rejoice. They will say, they continue what you're doing. Okay. So first what you do is that you sit, as if possible, try to learn the sitting posture, where what we call as the lotus posture, where your left foot should be on your right leg, and the right foot should be on your left leg. This is the order. Just learn how to sit in this position. And this itself will create an environment within your mind. And your right hand on your left hand, the tips of two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place these two on your laps in a very restful state where your body is very flexible. It is not rigid, it is very flexible. And breathe normally. Breathe normally. And for 1.5 minutes, 1.5 minutes, don't let anybody steal your time. Then don't let any other work steal your time. Have 1.5 minutes. Just focus your mind on your breath. Just count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Just focus your mind on the breath. This is your job. Whatever thoughts come, don't chase after these thoughts. Don't push those thoughts away. Don't push. Don't chase after them. Simply ignore and focus your mind on the breath for 1.5 minutes, which is 21 cycles. 21 cycles of the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. One cycle is constituted of inhalation and exhalation. This you do for 21 times. 21 times will take you like 1.5 minutes. That's it. Okay, do it. And if you want to, if you feel that, okay, I 10 minutes, nothing. I have, minimum like at the half an hour. If this is the case, then you do it the same of the 1.5 minutes, which is 21 cycles, and keep pause for a short while, for a few seconds. Pause, even though it is going so well. Even though it's going so well, stop for a few seconds and again do it. Resume it. Resume it. Again, 21 cycles. Do it 3 times in the morning. 3 times in the morning. Okay. When you do that, all these, say, the thoughts, distractions, these things can potentially happen because you are doing only for 1.5 minutes, 21 cycles. They count, just counting the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. 1. Breathe in. Sometimes you can be distracted. If you're distracted, if you forget the count, start from 0. If you do not forget the count, start from where you left earlier. And keep in mind that my job is to give a damn to the mental distractions, to say no to the mental distractions and the mental sleepiness, mental sinking. My job is to say no to these two. Just focus on the breath. Okay. And in the process, after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so forth, you are doing good. And then you might have some interesting things happening, like, say, the Buddha image coming, or say the lights are coming. These are all distractions. Just ignore these. Focus on a breath. Focus on the breath. And sometimes you might have an extremely ecstatic feeling, ecstasy, feeling of ecstasy, feeling of bliss can come. When they say, oh, then my mind moved towards I focus on the bliss. Don't do that. These are all distractions. Focus on the breath. When you're in stress, the counting the breath helps you. Now, when you're doing better, all these bliss and all these, the distractions come. Forget, ignore these, focus on the breath. Okay, this is one part. Then number 2 is the agitation, all this agitation, let's say the depression or anxiety attack. These are all related to the mental disturbance. Mental disturbance, they are related to the cognitive thought process. Wrong cognitive thought processes or misperceptions, these are responsible for resulting into this anxiety attack, depression, stress, and so forth. So what we do is that we have to undo the cognitive misperceptions. For that, just recite the 4 seals. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Transcending sorrow is nirvana, absolute peace. Say these 4. While you say these 4, these 4 are also known as I say these four are also known as the four seals of the Buddha's teachings. But this can be said by, reflected upon by anybody. Anybody who wants to remove their tension, stress, depression, anxiety attack, and so forth. Anybody can do that. And finally, it's not about Buddhism, it's about your well-being. So with this, just do that, and all compositions are impermanent. Think about impermanence. All these examples say the people you have met in your life, and the beautiful, once upon a time, a very beautiful car, beautiful house. Now they become abandoned objects. Once a beautiful actor, actresses, now they become old, disfigured. Okay, once I was so young with all these classmates, now all these are gone, dispersed. Now I have a very different circle of friends. Impermanence. Okay, all contaminated things are suffering nature. As long as my mind, as long as my mind is with contamination, which means self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. The ignorance, seeing things as so solid, and with the selfishness, as long as I am the servant of these two, I will never be happy. I will always have miseries. Number two. Okay, then in this connection, they say once in a while try to also try to reflect on the emptiness. With emptiness, what's the experience like? The way, in the manner I said earlier, somebody with so much of stress, but emptiness, outsiders can see that your face starts to, so much stress, the stress face will become very normal and very peaceful. Then will start to glow. This is what can be seen. So with this, just see experientially, finally experientially, see that meditating on emptiness, impermanence, they help to transform you mentally. You must get a glimpse of this experience. Once you get a glimpse of this experience, then these will have an exceptionally powerful effect on you. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Then the next one is everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. So here what we do is that we include the 5-step meditation on emptiness. 5-step meditation on emptiness. Anybody can do that. The first one is the self. The point 1, self, I. Point 2, the 6 elements, which we did last time. 6 elements, point 2. Point 3, the 2 questions. What are the 2 questions? Don't worry, I'll explain this. 2 questions. Point 4, the meditative state of the space like emptiness. Meditative state of the space like emptiness. And point 5, the post-meditative state of illusion like emptiness. Point 4, meditative state of space like emptiness. Point 5, post-meditative state, the state of the illusion like emptiness. Good. Okay, I'm going to explain each one of them. So when you finish your breathing meditation, you finish the 4 reflections of the 4 seals, and then you think about the self. I. Point 1, I. How do you look like? Objectively real or like a dream? Of course, objectively real, number 1. Number 2, the 6 elements. Then you subject the self to ultimate analysis in the form of the 6 elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, consciousness. What is the earth element? The solid parts of the body. Go through these one by one. Don't just rashly go. Don't hurry. No hurry. Go one by one. And earth, the solid part, like the bones, the fatty tissues, the heart, the lungs, all the solid parts, one by one, scan them. Then animal water, 4 liters of the blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Then element of fire, the body heat. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air which we breathe in and out through the lungs. Atom space, 99% of the body is just vacuum. Our body is just made of, let's say, like a few trillions of atoms. And these atoms, the space, the empty space is like 99% in ratio with that of the space occupied by the electrons, protons, neutrons. So in other words, we are 99%, 9.9% space. And then consciousness, our mind. Okay, go through these 6, stay in this experience. Next to 2 questions. Question 1, what are you seeing? I'm seeing these 6 elements within me. Question number 2, where is the self, which you earlier saw so objectively real? Where is the self? It is nowhere to be seen. It is nowhere to be seen. Just stay in this experience. Stay in this experience. And with this experience, you might get a tinge of a fear. Or in some cases, a tickling sensation can happen on the surface of the skin, or cold waves can flow through your body. In some cases, extremely tranquil the feeling can come at the core of your heart, or very peaceful feeling can come to you. When this happens, don't be distracted to these. Just focus on the second question, where is the self? In the eyes of the ultimate analysis, this self is nowhere to be seen objectively, nowhere. From the object, nowhere to be seen as self. This is not what I'm inventing. This is what I'm discovering. Stay in this experience. Stay in this experience is number 5, the meditative state of the space like emptiness. Okay, then once you have this experience, then without forgetting this experience, gradually get out of this meditation. Getting out of this meditation, you will then get a feeling that, oh, the I comes back, the self comes back. Yes, you discover that it is empty from the object. Now from the subject, there's an appearance happening. Therefore, it is a mere appearance. Mere appearance means it's like illusion. This is step number 5, the post-meditative state of the illusion like emptiness. And try to retain this experience. Yes, this self called as Dorji. But this is like illusion. Stay in this experience, or you're good. Then what you do is that you do the 4 seals. Oh, sorry, the 4 immeasurables. The 4 immeasurables. Immeasurable loving kindness, immeasurable compassion, immeasurable joy, and immeasurable the equanimity. So one, let's say immeasurable loving kindness. Let's say that, okay, how good would it be that all beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness? Number 1. Number 2, may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. Number 3, I will take the responsibility that all beings are happy and have the causes of happiness. 3 things with the immeasurable kindness, loving kindness. Then 3 things with the immeasurable compassion. 3 things with the immeasurable joy. 3 things with the immeasurable equanimity. Do this, and when you do this, it can be superficial. It doesn't matter. When you say, I will take the responsibility. Oh, it's so superficial. That's not real. Don't worry. When practicing the music, musical instruments, first you have to mimic your teachers. There's no music there. It's so superficial. You keep doing it, eventually it becomes real. It becomes so beautiful. This is the meaning of the practice. Okay. But then the next one is to make a commitment that may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. When you say this, don't think of I become a Buddhist. This is not a connotation. When you say that may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, may this light of the purity within me, may that become manifest. May it become manifest where all the obstacles are removed, where all the obscurations are removed. May that the treasure that I have be manifest so that I can be of greatest benefit to all my dear mother sentient beings. Just say this 3 times, accompany this with one verse which says, I go for refuge in the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Add this verse and say it 3 times if you have time. If you don't have time, just say it once. Okay. And then you end with the dedication. Just one verse you can add from the dedication which we used to say in the last 5 sessions. You can just end with one verse, 2 verse, 3 verses dedication, finished. Then this is this session. Then normally in day-to-day life, what do we do? What do we do? The first is say no to anger. Say no to anger. What does anger do is that anger eats up your immune system. Anger destroys your immunity. When I say give up anger, say no to anger, it doesn't mean that from tomorrow I will do no anger, and then tomorrow again your husband says something and you become angry. Your wife says something, you become angry. Okay, oh no, there's no hope, right? No. When I say don't give in to anger, which means that anger can arise within you. When it arises, don't try to invigorate this. Don't try to follow this. Be mindful. Okay, now look, the anger has arisen. I should be careful now, not to fuel it further, right? When anger arises towards husband, wife, children, parents, so forth, don't let the physical and verbal results of the anger come out. Physical and verbal, to stop the physical verbal is much easier as compared to controlling the mental. So physical verbal, stop it first. That must be stopped. Okay. And try as much as possible to catch the anger the moment it arises. See how you can succeed in this. This is one thing that we can do. Then number 2 is that stay away from the 10. Try your best to stay away from the 10 non-virtuous actions. This will greatly calm your mind. Try your best. I'm not saying remove the 10 non-virtuous actions right away. We cannot do it right away. Try your best to stay away from the 10 non-virtuous actions. 3 physical, 4 verbal, and 3 mental. What are the 3 physical? Okay. Stealing, killing, sexual misconduct. Stealing, okay, like evading the tax and so forth. Killing, like, okay, we will not really go to kill somebody there, the human beings or so forth, but the insect, including the insects, be kind to the insects also, like the mosquitoes. Don't kill like this, right? Mosquitoes, and then in the tiny ants, you just, without just ignoring them, treading on these ants, and you kill them. Just try to stay away from these as much as possible. So these actions, gestures will help you to grow your compassion, very profound compassion. More compassionate you are, more peaceful you are. This is the secret of happiness. Okay, no stealing, no killing, and if possible, try to resort to vegetarianism as much as possible. I'm not saying go for vegetarianism. What I'm saying is try your best. Try your best. Try to turn towards vegetarianism as much as you can. Some people, they're amazing. What they say is that, okay, from after this teaching, I stopped buying the red meat, and I may go to the restaurants, I may be non-veg, but at home I don't deliberately cook the non-veg food. Some people say like this. Some people say I stopped eating the chicken, because chicken is very easily available and the poor animal can lose their life very easily. So I stay away from chicken. take some steps. This is the point. And if at all nothing happens, you cannot take any steps, don't worry, at least rejoice in those people who are vegetarian. It's so good that there are people who are so committed, who are so strong-willed to stay vegetarian. That's amazing. I rejoice in them. Even that is a great virtue. This is indication that you have a heart. Good. Okay. The three are the physical, then four verbal. Okay. The no telling lies, no slander, no harsh words, no idle gossip. No harsh words. Stop shouting at your mother. This is the first step. Stop shouting at your mother, because the mother loves you the most. And even in many cases, the fathers, they love you so much. And then the children, meaning the children, it doesn't mean 5 years old, 20 years old, 30 years, 40 years old. You know, when they meet with their parents, I could see the body language that the parents, they become like submissive. The child can say anything, and that the parents, they have to comply. So don't make it happen. Stop shouting at the parents. This is so important. This is so important. Believe it or not, if this happens, you will see the change in the glow of the parents' face. You will see the change in the body language of the parents. You can see the parents' ease when, you know, they start to see you. There's an ease in them. With this ease, you see this, who created this? You created this. That's again, I'll say the joy, increment in the joy within you, to see that there's a glow in your parents' face. Okay, this is very important. Then the idle gossip. I'm sure in the West, there's no time for idle gossip. Yeah, you have to run with the machine, right? And you don't really have the time for idle gossip. Okay, then the next one is the three mental. Okay, covetousness, which is craving for the possession of others. This can happen anywhere in the world. Craving for the possessions of others, the relationships, human relationships, and so forth. This is worst. This is where all these problems happen: agitation, then stress, depression, all these things happen. The covetousness. I'm not going to go into detail, you know that. The next is ill will. Stay away from ill will. Anger can arise, but you know, the reinforcing this anger by wanting to harm somebody else. That is extremely bad. Ill will. This will disturb your mind so badly. And then finally, the wrong view. The wrong view is disbelieving in the efficacy of law of karma. Disbelieving the law of karma. Okay, as long as the police, they don't arrest me, I can do anything, right? Where is law of karma? If this is the one which destroys all, which makes your virtues, the foundation virtue, become loose. It shakes the foundation of the virtues, the foundation of your happiness. The moment you don't have the conviction in the efficacy of law of karma, finished. Okay. And then the next one is that, see, on a daily basis, you always keep in touch. Okay, be a daily basis, but always try to keep in touch with a good company, including good Dharma centers like Kalachakra Center. Always be connected with, you know, some centers or good friends. Good friends. What is meaning good friends? Good companions. What? The people who are inclined towards Dharma. That is very important. And then alongside, just see that on a daily basis, if possible, on a daily basis, keep a book like this, for example, The Blaze of Non-Dual Buddha. This says you can get it free. You can get it free online. You can just download this, or Tibet House, we can also send it to you, anybody who's interested, hard copy. So just keep a book like this, or Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Bodhisattva Shantideva next to your bed. next to your bed, and always read 1 or 2 passages, 1 or 2 verses from there. Keep stimulating your cognitive thought process. Keep stimulating cognitive thought processes, be it in the area of emptiness or be it in the area of the bodhicitta. Keep stimulating these things. If you do these things, guaranteed that your mind will become happier, more and more peaceful. And then as you have more and more white hairs, so I was saying the first year I joined the Tibet House, I don't remember having white hair. So now after like 12 years, now I see the more white hairs happening. This is natural for everyone. The point is that as you age, if you miss your youth, you are not a good practitioner. As you age, you don't miss your youth, you become more busy with your Dharma practice, you become happier. You are a good Dharma practitioner. So if you do what we said now, if you do it, if you be being consistent, guarantee that as you age, you start to lose your youth, but you will gain your peace of mind. You will gain your joy. In other words, as you age, you should become happier and happier. Instead of missing the youth, you should become happier and happier. Okay, if this is what you do, then you are a real Dharma practitioner. This life, peace of mind is guaranteed. No depression, no anxiety, no stress. Next life, guaranteed. A very Dharma life will take birth in the Dharma place, and you will grow even more. Gade will happen. Okay, we'll stop here. I'm sure there are many questions. If you do have questions, because that we are already running late, if you do have questions, please feel free to write to me, office@tibethouse.in, and our program coordinator will send you the WhatsApp, what is that? The email address to you. Feel free to send me the questions to me. Yes, and then also keep in mind that I'm not sure Venerable Elizabeth Geshe Tapal is still with you. Yes, so also feel free to, there's a Kalachakra center there. You are very fortunate. In France, there is the Nalanda Institute there, and Vajrayogini Institute there, Kalachakra center there. There must be many other centers as well. You are very fortunate. Continue to be connected with these centers. This will have invariably great benefit for you. And question that you might have, you want to ask me, they send them to us. Meanwhile, make sure that the immediate center next to you is being utilized for your own growth and for the happiness of the others. Okay. Thank you, Venerable Elizabeth. Thank you so much. And Venerable Jimbala, thank you so much for your rendering the service of translation for the French, the speakers, and Arnold for moderating. Thank you so much. And Tenzin Rumala, thank you so much for spending so much of your hours for this program. And Tenzin Hadrunla, thank you so much for doing this IT. Sorry. Okay, thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you very much, Geshe-la. We would like, on behalf of all the Kalachakra Center friends, to thank you, and please come to France whenever you can, and please teach us again. You know, your wonderful words are really a blessing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, end direction prayer, yes. End direction prayer.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
So, for the end direction prayer, Tenzin Hadrunla will lead the end direction prayer. Meanwhile, the dedication and the end, let us dedicate the merits thus gathered, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. Also that the chief president or the chairperson of FAMT, Lama Rinpoche, and all the great teachers who genuinely spread the teaching of compassion, bodhicitta, and wisdom, emptiness, may they live long, may their wishes be fulfilled spontaneously for the benefit of all the beings. And let us also dedicate the merits that's gathered, that all these great learning centers of the Sakya tradition, Nyingma tradition, Kagyu tradition, Gelug tradition, Theravada tradition, Chinese Buddhism, and any center rendering the teaching of bodhicitta, wisdom, and emptiness, may they thrive in the activities of study, reflection, meditation, and all the centers available for the public, like Kalachakra Center, Tibet House, and all, irrespective of what tradition, may they thrive in the activities, may they be able to benefit to all the people, local people, and others as well. And let me personally dedicate merits that's gathered, that each one of you, through a concerted effort in the practice of the wisdom of emptiness bodhicitta, may you soon see the dawn of the bodhicitta wisdom, and wisdom of emptiness within you, and that you become such a reliable guide to lead all dear mother sentient beings towards ultimate happiness. May the teaching on the bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness thrive in all the places, in 3 times, and in the minds of all dear mother sentient beings. Okay, with this mind, I request Tenzin Petronla, Tenzin Hadrula to lead the prayers.
Thank you, Venerable Geshe. Let us all recite the dedication prayers together. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good, all powerful 22nd Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samanta Batra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all the roots of virtue with dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appeared in the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Chanchu sem chore poche ma ke pana ke gyuchi ke vanya pa me ba ya kan kondu pe vaishu. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has not a reason arise and go, and may that which is a reason not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of this virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and to the upholding of Dharma of teaching and realization. May I, in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, the renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect view, and the 2 stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts, and may Dharma and the auspiciousness proliferate in all the places where they abide. The path of the union of emptiness and compassion is usually explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the land of snows. You are the lotus for the Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice to perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the 3 jewels. In all my life, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the sages in the past. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by their Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Let us all recite the Heart Sutra mantra 3 times. Tayatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Venerable Geshe. Thank you, Venerable Elizabeth, Kalachakra Center. Thank you, James Bala. Thank you so much.